You are listening to the People Station on greatdayradio.com.
Welcome to another greatdayradio.com political chaos discussion. Leadership during crisis, it seems simple enough, right? But what if the reality is that 94 Texans died in devastating floods while their senator was photographed sightseeing at the Parthenon?
You know what's fascinating about this story? It's not just about one vacation. There's this pattern emerging that really speaks to a deeper issue in how we think about leadership responsibility.
Let me paint this picture for you. While rescue workers were desperately searching for missing girls from a Christian summer camp in Texas, Senator Ted Cruz was spotted touring ancient ruins in Athens with his wife and a single security guard.
And this wasn't even the first time something like this happened with Cruz, was it? There's an interesting parallel here.
That's right. Back in 2021, during Winter Storm Uri, Cruz made headlines for heading to Cancun while millions of Texans were without power or water. Now, in 2025, we're seeing an almost identical scenario play out, but with even more devastating consequences.
The response at the Parthenon really captures the disconnect, doesn't it? Could you share what happened when someone confronted him?
According to eyewitnesses, when someone said, 20 kids dead in Texas and you take a vacation, Cruz just grunted and walked on. His wife apparently shot the person a dirty look, and they continued their tour as if nothing had happened.
That's particularly striking when you consider what was happening back home. What were the actual numbers we're looking at here?
The statistics are devastating. 94 confirmed deaths from the flooding, and that's not even counting the full impact on infrastructure and communities. But here's what makes this even more troubling. The National Weather Service offices in Texas were severely understaffed when this disaster hit.
Let's dig into those staffing issues. What specific positions were vacant?
According to the New York Times, key positions were empty in both San Antonio and San Angelo offices. We're talking about the warning coordination meteorologist, science officer, senior hydrologist, and several other crucial forecasting and coordination roles. These aren't just bureaucratic positions, they're essential for predicting and responding to weather emergencies.
So we're looking at a compound failure, both in leadership and in infrastructure. How did we get here?
Well, this is where the story gets even more interesting. These vacancies weren't random. They were the direct result of funding cuts to the National Weather Service. About 560 workers were let go, leaving these crucial positions unfilled right when they were needed most.
The timing of all this seems particularly problematic. How does this affect emergency response capabilities?
Think about trying to coordinate a massive flood response without a senior hydrologist, or attempting to warn communities without a warning coordination meteorologist. It's like trying to fight a fire with half your equipment missing. The system was essentially crippled before the crisis even began.
You mentioned earlier about the impact of social media. How has that changed the dynamics of these situations?
It's completely transformed the accountability landscape. The Parthenon incident was reported almost immediately, with eyewitness accounts spreading across social media platforms within hours. 20 years ago, this might have gone unnoticed for weeks.
Let's talk solutions. What concrete changes could prevent these kinds of leadership failures?
We need a multi-layered approach. First, there's the immediate need for clear protocols about leadership responsibilities during emergencies. But more importantly, we need to address the systemic issues. Proper funding for weather services, maintained infrastructure, and robust emergency response systems.
The human cost of these failures is staggering when you really think about it.
Exactly. And that's what makes this story so compelling. It's not just about a vacation or a political scandal. It's about what happens when multiple systems fail simultaneously. When leadership is absent, when infrastructure is undermined, when emergency services are understaffed, the consequences are measured in human lives.
Looking ahead, what should voters take away from this?
I think the key lesson is that leadership isn't just about campaign promises or public statements. It's about actions during critical moments. When communities are suffering, when lives are at stake, that's when we see what our leaders truly prioritize. And voters need to remember these moments when they head to the polls.
These events certainly provide a clear lens through which to view leadership priorities.
And maybe that's the most important takeaway. These crisis moments strip away the political theater and show us exactly who our leaders are and what they value. It's not just about being in charge, it's about being there when it matters most. Okay, folks, in closing, instances like that of Senator Cruz highlight a broader issue in politics where rhetoric does not always match action. Politicians often campaign on promises of being community-focused and dedicated to serving the public. But actions during critical moments test these commitments. When leaders fail to demonstrate this dedication, it diminishes public confidence in governmental systems and can lead to increased skepticism about politicians' true motivations.
I agree, Mikey. The expectation for politicians to remain present and engaged during crises is not merely symbolic. It is a fundamental aspect of their role as public servants. The case of absenteeism during Winter Storm Uri served as a reminder of the importance of authentic leadership and the impact of personal accountability. Thank you so much for tuning in to GreatDayRadio.com Political Chaos Podcast. If you have an opinion, rant, or complaint, I highly encourage you to visit our website, click on Let's Talk at the top of the page, and leave a 30-second message or two. Also, I want to remind you that DJ Mikey D will be at the VFW 9644's 5th Annual Patriot Day Car Show on September 6, 2025. It is located at 2680 West Hamden Avenue in Sheridan, Colorado. It is free to attend. There will be food, games, raffles, music, and so much more.
You are listening to the best podcast from the USA to the UK on greatdayradio.com.